What's up guys, Mr. Basie here, and today I'm going to bring you a commentary talking about the competitiveness and possibly the competitive future of Halo 5 Guardians. And I want to state that yes, this is very early, early predictions, early competitive predictions. But I think that, in terms of the way that I've seen the beta, the way that I've seen the gameplay, I have a good theory and a good hypothesis on the way that, competitive is going to be implemented in that game. So first off, I want to state that, I want to kind of jump to a different series here, and I know it's weird to do that in sort of competitive predictions for Halo, but we're going to jump to Call of Duty for just a moment. Now, I want to first state that if a Call of Duty game that was coming out, let's say the newest Call of Duty coming out next year, right, is, known far and wide, everybody agrees that it's going to be absolute crap, there would still be a competitive community for that game. And I don't want to, say that I don't want to be negative towards Call of Duty, because Call of Duty in its own right is a good game. And for the community that likes it, I particularly am one that does like it. I'm not a bigger fan of that game than I am of Halo, but, I do recognize that it is a decent game. So there would still be a competitive following. There's been Call of Duties in the past that are absolutely crap, and, MLG, esports, they've all picked up those games and gone with them. So I think my next statement kind of leads into my next statement, is that I think Halo 5 Guardians does have a very good shot at becoming a very competitive and kind of have its competitive community, its social community as well, kind of repopulated. And I want to first state that I don't want to go 100% and say, yeah, Halo 5 is going to be fantastic, it's going to be the best competitive game, a competitive community is just going to go right through the roof and everyone's going to love Halo again. Because it depends on a few factors, and I want to go back and talk about what came out first, or kind of what we've been playing, is Halo 2 Anniversary, or the Master Chief Collection. So in terms of, when that game came out, and Halo 2 Anniversary was announced, and it came out and everyone was loving it, well, for the first couple of days couldn't play it, but, everybody was liking it. And then the esports community was launched. It was everybody was talking about the esports community coming out for Halo 2 Anniversary. And that was a big thing, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of it, a big portion on how successful Halo 5's competitive community and in general its population is going to be. I think a great portion of that relies on the fact, or relies on the hopes of this esports community picking up Halo 2 Anniversary in a positive way, trying to get new players into the game, and and things like that, and trying to repopulate the community, and then trying to repopulate the competitive community. Because, Halo in general is very fun to watch. People don't have to be Halo players. People don't have to be very good at Halo or really interested in competitive Halo to enjoy watching it. A very good example of that is me, myself. I do not play Counter-Strike. I've never actually played Counter-Strike not Counter-Strike, StarCraft 2. I've never once played StarCraft 2. Not a single time have I personally played that game. But I very much enjoy watching it. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I really like watching StarCraft 2. For me, that's a very good example of someone who doesn't play the game, doesn't know what's going on, but is a follower of the game, and possibly, when I started playing on PC, I knew that there was going to be one game that I would have to pick up and play and kind of put my time into, other than on console, and I picked Counter-Strike, of course. I just like FPS games, but I knew that StarCraft 2 was a big contender. I watched it on streams. I've seen it on MLG.TV. I've seen it on Twitch. My brother loves that game. He pretty much, showed me it in the first place. And that's a great example of someone who doesn't play the game and absolutely loves watching it. So Halo in general is something that's very fun to watch, and I think that they really need to concentrate on the community itself and try to really get some publicity out there, because in all actuality, I'm not seeing the kind of publicity that I was hoping for. I was really optimistic about the esports league in the beginning, and I still am, but essentially the publicity that's actually out there with the game right now, with specifically Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 5 Guardians is getting much more publicity in terms of a Halo game, which is understandable, very understandable. People want to see what the new Halo has in its pockets, but or up its sleeves, I should say. So that's essentially what's going on there. But in terms of the esports league that was established for Halo 2 Anniversary, a lot of the success, or the competitive success of Halo 5 Guardians relies on Halo 2 Anniversary and that esports league. I do think that there needs to be more publicity in there. I keep saying publicity because that is what the community needs. They need to, really get into broadcasting that game and really kind of, showboating it and just getting it all out in the community, trying to revitalize Halo again, because for a while Halo's been trickling down in terms of popularity, and really not in the loyal community. It's been very popular, but in terms of new players coming into the game, in terms of even some veteran players are actually leaving the game to go do other things for whatever reason. I guess one of those big reasons was Halo 4 actually. Now I thought Halo 4 was pretty good, but a lot of people didn't like that there was no D-scope. A lot of people didn't like that they put sprint back in the game. They really just felt like they were trying to imitate Call of Duty too much, and I understand that. I do understand that, and I think that this is why before I want to first jump to something else. This is why before I said that being able to turn certain things on and off would be pretty significant. It would be something that I believe would add a whole new factor to Halo, because you wouldn't have anyone saying, well, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Because the developer should really leave it into the individual's hands whether they want to have that. And even these guys, okay, you can think all you want about different stuff, because I'm sure those are great ideas, but I'm telling you right now, being able to toggle D-scope on and off, all right? People want to play with D-scope, you can do that. People don't want to play with D-scope, they want to, be scoped in when they're getting shot, you can do that, okay? Toggleable D-scope on and off would be fundamental. Toggleable sprint on and off, fundamental, because toggleable thrust on and off in this new Halo 5 Guardians would be absolutely fundamental, because these are controversial things. If you leave it up to the individual, now I understand matchmaking might not be, matchmaking might force people to do certain things, but in terms of custom games and the options in custom games, and even they might even have like classic Halo playlists. No thrust, and D-scope is in the game, and no sprint. You could have that too. I don't see why you couldn't have that. So you look, that might even be like the competitive playlist. I don't know. It depends on what they want to go with. But I mean, if you give the people the option to be able to toggle those three things on and off, that's huge, because that's right there. That is like 75 to 80% of the complaints of Halo players, whether that be veteran Halo players or people that don't like this or that. That's just massive, okay? You can then talk about other things that you want to toggle on and off if you think it's useful or not. You can talk about, because you've already got things like, headshot only, in terms of, if you want to do sniper games, headshot only, boom, right there. That's a toggleable on and off thing, essentially. It's not really on and off, but headshot only or headshot, or not headshot only. Kind of like that idea. So I think that should really be in the game. I just don't see why. I think it would be very easy to be in the game, is essentially my point of view. But jumping back to the competitive community and stuff like that, I think that it really does, again, rely on that, the Halo 2 community, or Halo 2 Anniversary community, I should say, because a lot of these old pros are coming back. Some new people actually picked up Master Chief Collection. A lot of my friends personally who don't really enjoy Halo as much as Call of Duty, I should say, they still like it, but they like Call of Duty more. They enjoy every installment of Call of Duty, especially this previous one. They enjoyed a decent amount. Some people actually picked the new one up, or picked up the remastered edition, experienced Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they enjoyed it. You know what I mean? It's something that people enjoy, even if it's just for the story mode. So I do think that there needs to be a lot of publicity, but in terms of the raw gameplay, guys, the raw gameplay of Halo 5 Guardians, now this is the other side of the things. I'm not sure if I touched on this briefly, but I want to kind of go into it now, is the raw gameplay of Halo 5 Guardians has the potential to be a competitive game. Now, this is my own opinion. Of course, you're free to disagree, and in fact, I encourage you to drop down your own opinions in the comments. It's, I always appreciate the discussion and the ideas flowing. And I apologize for the noise. But, I always appreciate those ideas. So that's essentially, what I think. I think the raw gameplay of the game is competitive worthy. I think that there is a very good chance that even now I understand there's a lot of, or I wouldn't say a lot, but a decent amount of problems with the game in terms of certain weapon balances, in terms of speeds, in terms of thrust. I know is a big topic right now. Thrust is something that I think needs a little bit of a nerf in some area, in some way. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really kind of contemplated that enough. But I know that Thrust needs some sort of tweaking done to it. Again, being able to turn it on and off would solve a lot of issues, just saying 343. But you know, it does need some tweaking in terms of if people are actually going to be using it. And you know, so the raw gameplay, I think, is competitive worthy 100%, no doubt in my mind. Just like Halo 2 Anniversary, you know, it's literally the same game pretty much, just, you know, remastered, better graphics, updated maps, things like that. I do think there should be more maps. I've said this in a previous commentary, but I do think that those, you know, those two games, Halo 5 Guardians in particular, have the potential to be competitive games. Halo 2 Anniversary is kind of like no doubt in my mind. Of course, it has a potential to be a competitive game because of the fact that it's literally the same game, and it's one of the games that has revolutionized competitive games on console. Okay, I mean, it's a huge game. If you go back in time, I mean, Halo 2 was the shit back then. You know what I mean? Everybody who was anybody who was playing competitive was playing that game. Of course, there were competitive Call of Duty leagues back then, but not anywhere close to the popularity of Halo. Even up until Halo 3, you know, Call of Duty was still kind of on the back, not really on the back burner, but it was still underneath Halo in terms of popularity and in terms of payouts on competitive tournaments and things like that. And then when Reach came out, it kind of like, you know, flip-flopped. That's when the popularity started to shift, and then it's been going up ever since. Now, of course, I'm not hating on them. I'm not hating on Call of Duty players or Call of Duty competitive. I encourage that because you know, I'm a competitive person in any shape or form. Whatever way you want to compete, go do it. If it's Call of Duty, Halo, Counter-Strike, StarCraft, whatever, League of Legends, go do it, because you know, competitiveness is competitiveness, and I really enjoy that. So, but those are the kind of factors that I'm looking at here, guys. I'm not going to be 100% optimistic this time, or 100%, you know, gung-ho about Halo 5 Guardians and give you the best possible thing you want to hear, because I want to be objective here, and I don't want to be 100% negative. I don't want to be 100% positive. I want to kind of give my 2 cents on what factors I feel are influencing Halo 5 Guardians competitiveness, and do I really think that Halo 5 Guardians has even the remotest, slightest chance of being a competitive game? The answer to that, in summary, guys, yes. I think the raw gameplay has extreme potential, even now, but you know, a year later, I'm sure it's going to be phenomenal. So you know, a year from now, in that kind of light, 100%, the raw gameplay will have the potential for a competitive game. In terms of the community, I think the community or the publicity or whatever's going on in that region needs to be bumped up just a teeny bit, guys, because I just don't think that it's there yet. I don't think it's there yet. It's kind of lacking a bit, in my opinion. Not as much as I expected it to be, you know, anyway. I know a lot of previous players are coming back, but not enough new players are coming into the scene. There needs to be a lot more streaming. There needs to be a lot more, you know, things like that going on with Halo 2 Anniversary to really boost the community until Halo 5 comes out, because when Halo 5 comes out, it's going to be extremely crucial for people to be streaming the game, for, you know, tournaments to start immediately. All these things need to happen like right away. MLG needs to pick up the game this time. I really hope 343 partners with MLG and doesn't do any of that, you know, backdoor kind of stuff with Virgin Gaming. Nothing against Virgin Gaming. They had some great tournaments, but they didn't have enough, okay? They had 2 or 3 great tournaments with big payouts and stuff like that. You know, got everybody participated, even throughout the world, everybody participated, but they didn't have enough tournaments, and it really, really hurt the community. You know what I mean? That was like the big thing. Virgin Gaming, you know, it was popular on the game. They advertised on the game. It just wasn't there. There wasn't enough. People forgot. You know what I mean? People didn't care. MLG, they do streams every day. They've got pro players that do streams every day. Twitch, streaming every day. All that stuff, guys. So that's what needs to happen with that game. So I really hope you enjoyed this discussion. I hope that you were engaged, and I hope that you can further engage yourself and drop down in the comments what you think about this. I really like to hear your ideas so we can stir up some discussion down there. I'd really like to see what you guys have to say. Either way, guys, I really hope you enjoyed. Rate the video what you think it deserved, and if you'd like to become a Sage in Training, make sure you subscribe today. This has been Mr. Basie, your favorite Sage, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.